Looking for a top-flight dental vision hearing plan? It just landed. SureBridge, a Chesapeake life carrier, offers preventative.
Good morning. Can anyone hear me? Hello, good morning. Great. David, you there? Good morning, everybody. We'll be starting here in a couple minutes. We're just waiting for David to arrive. David is with Mutual of Omaha, and we will be going over Mutual's Living Promise. So if you can, get up for your coffee. That'd be greatly appreciated, and we'll get here started shortly.
Okay, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Hi, is that Anthony?
Yes, here I am.
Okay. I apologize for that. I was on the call-in number, and it was my line was muted, I believe. So I just switched over to computer audio. Let me just make sure my volume is where I want it to be. One moment.
Yeah, and good morning, everyone. Sorry for the delay. We were having a little bit of technical difficulties. Anthony here with AIM, and we're really excited because we have David Neal joining us. David is Mutual's Life Sales Director for the Western region, and let's just say it's going to be a good one. And without further ado, feel free to take it away, David. The rest of you attendees, you are on listen-only mode. Later down the road, when we get down to questions, we'll unmute everyone.
Okay, great. And just to make sure, and yes, I apologize as well for the technical difficulties. Can everybody see my screen now? Or can you see it? Hello?
Yeah. I can see yours, and it looks like
you see a title slide that says Living Promise Whole Life?
Yep, there it is.
Okay, taking up the whole screen? Okay, good. Okay, well, good. Well, hey, thank you for that introduction, Anthony. And again, we apologize for any of the technical difficulties here. I do quite a few of these, and I'd say 80% of them always have some sort of a glitch. I always say it wouldn't be a webinar without some sort of a technical glitch. But the good news is I think we've got some really good content for you today, and hopefully you'll be able to use some of this information in helping your clients. It's slated for an hour, and we're really only going to need about a half hour. So even with the delay, we're in good shape. And I believe Anthony said the lines are muted, but of course, at the end of the presentation, I'd be happy to take any questions. So with that, I think I'll jump right in. So what we're going to be covering today is Mutual of Omaha's Living Promise whole life product. That's our final expense product. Some of you are probably very well aware of that product and how to use it and what its applications are, and some of you may not. That's typical of any fairly large audience, but hopefully this will all give you some useful information. So just to jump right in, and so Anthony, it is not allowing me to advance the slides. So yeah, it is. This happened to me before on GoToWebinar. You know what you may do, so we don't have a further delay, is can you take back control of the screen, and then you could just advance as I go through. It's not ideal, but it's not letting me advance. I apologize.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
There's only like about 20 some slides, so it's not a lot.
Yeah, I'm trying to make this work. Come on.
Yeah,
I was going to let you change the slide.
yeah, it's not allowing me to advance. I had this problem with GoToWebinar last week one time. So yeah,
Okay.
you should be able to.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah. Okay, I'm trying some things on my end as well, and I'm not as familiar with GoToWebinar, but I just tried to give you control of not just the screen, but the keyboard and mouse. I don't know if that works to go ahead, and if you were to try to advance the slides now. Sorry, everybody.
Okay. Can you email me the presentation?
Yes, I was hoping we could do that just with the, just with the me giving you control of the keyboard and mouse. Okay, hang tight. I think I'm gonna have to do that. I'm gonna have to back out of the webinar, but
You shouldn't have to back out of the webinar. Just open your email and close the slideshow and attach it.
That's what I'm trying to do. Okay, here we go.
When you open this, you can't have 24 apps open like you did. You got to pare it down because of the way that this network works with Green Central on there. Just clogs it. Big time.
Okay. I just,
Hang on.
okay, yep, I just sent it your way. It's just a PowerPoint entitled Living Promise.
Okay.
Got it, David.
Hey, that's okay, good.
Just give us a second.
Yep, no problem. I think if you just hit share my screen and pull up the PowerPoint, it should show. There you go.
Great, here we go.
Yeah, great. Maybe if you try to hit that maximize box in the upper right, does that make the screen a little bigger? The upper right hand corner. Okay. Well, at least we can see this. So, okay. Well, let's get started again. Like I said, we're going to be covering our the Mutual of Omaha final expense product, which is a whole life product called Living Promise. And we'll touch on some other things as we go through this, but we'll give you some idea of the product and the riders available, as well as some of the automated underwriting options and quoting options. So, so thanks to Anthony for advancing through these. So if you could advance to the next slide. Great. So I always think it's important to start off a lot of these presentations with why do business with us? Why do business with Mutual of Omaha? And this is certainly not meant to be a company commercial, but I think it's important for some of you have probably a very strong awareness of Mutual of Omaha and the company itself and our product portfolios, but then of you may not be as familiar. And I think it's important that you feel comfortable with the company that you're working with your clients with. So next slide, please. So we kind of rank the top 5 reasons, and you can just click through these 5. Brand recognition is a big one for us. Most people are very familiar with the Mutual of Omaha name and brand. If you're anywhere close to my age, give or take 10 or 20 years, I'm 55. Many people are very familiar with the Mutual of Omaha Wild Kingdom TV program. We've got that reputation. This is a very competitive business, a difficult business, and it's helpful for you when you're going in and talking to your clients to have a company that has that brand and name recognition. It just makes the whole situation a little bit more easy and comfortable. We'll take a look at our ratings here in a minute, but we've been in business for over 100 years, very strong financially, and when it comes to product, we've got a very competitive simplified issue product portfolio, as well as a very competitive fully underwritten product portfolio. And of course, we'll touch on this in a little bit, but we also offer some very fast and efficient underwriting through our EAP process. So next slide, please. Again, a little bit more on the company. I mentioned Wild Kingdom. Again, a lot of brand recognition and name recognition from that long-running TV program. We also, for those of you who are golf fans, we also sponsor a number of golfers, both U.S. and international golfers. So the name is out there, and it's not going to be a situation where you're going to have to explain to your client who Mutual of Omaha is as a company. Next slide, please. So just real quick on ratings, and this is important, certainly should be important. We've got very strong ratings from 3 of the major rating agencies: A+ Superior with AM Best, A1 with Moody's, and AA- with Standard & Poor's. And I would say this is important. Our competitors, especially in the final expense space, I have great respect for all of them, but many of them do not. They might have 1 or 2 ratings that are solid, but they may not have the ratings that we have from these 3 major rating agencies that are strong ratings across the board. So again, something that should give you some confidence regarding the company, not just the product, but the company that you're representing to your clients. Next slide, please. So this is just a broad overview of our simplified issue product portfolio, and I'm sure most of you are familiar with what simplified issue is. It's not guaranteed issue with no underwriting, and it's certainly not full underwriting, full medical underwriting, but it's right in between. So simplified issue, of course, is no blood, no paramed, no urine, and all that means is obviously it's a lot easier for your clients, and it's a lot quicker to issue. And so that's good for your clients, but it's also good for you because it helps to get paid faster. On the left-hand side, you see the portfolio as it is today. We're going to be covering a Living Promise, the final expense product, but we also have our Term Life Express, our GUL Express, the Children's Whole Life, and our Guaranteed Advantage product. And they all offer simplified issue underwriting. I will take a quick moment here to let you know, for those of you that may be familiar with our GUL Express product, again, it's a guaranteed universal life product offering simplified issue underwriting. Back on October 1st, just a couple of weeks ago, we launched a new version of that product that had been repriced, and we had there's premium. It varies a little bit by issue age, but their premium decreases up to 30%. So if you know that product and you've liked using the GUL Express, oftentimes it's used as an alternative to our Living Promise product where there's a need for higher face amounts. If you're aware of that product, just know that it became all that much more competitive with substantial premium decreases as of just a couple of weeks ago. The other thing I would add, it's not on this slide yet, but we're really excited about coming up in just a couple of weeks on November 1st, we're launching our first ever Indexed Universal Life Express product. So a simplified issue IUL. So we're really looking forward to that. Stay tuned. That will launch in 2 weeks. Next slide, please. So we have a lot of tools. There's no, as you'll see through this presentation, there's no shortage of tools that we give to you for assistance at point of sale with your clients. It's all about ease of doing business. We try to make it as easy and efficient as possible doing business with us and helping your clients. So obviously the simplified issue underwriting, we have you can do it with a paper app and our Aptical point of sale interview. We're going to focus here in a few minutes on our e-app process. More and more, we're seeing 65% and growing percentage of applications coming in for Living Promise on e-app versus the paper app. It's as we'll see, you can still do the paper app and use Aptical to get that instant decision, but e-app is just a very efficient way. It's easier for your client and easier for you. So we're seeing a growing number of that as well. Next slide, please. So we'll jump in a little bit more into Living Promise here. Again, it's a whole life product. It's not a term product or a GUL product, but a whole life product. Next slide, please. So there's, excuse me. So there's two plan options, and this is not entirely uncommon with what you will find with some of our competitors, or most of our competitors, frankly, in the final expense marketplace. And so there's two different plan options. There's a level benefit plan and a graded benefit plan. There, what you can see in terms of what it shows on the slide there, a level benefit plan goes up to a maximum issue age of 85 with a maximum face amount of $40,000, and a graded benefit plan goes up to age 80, a little less there, and then a maximum of $20,000 on the death benefit. And for those of you that may not be familiar with a graded benefit plan, all that's saying is that if death occurs in the first 2 years, the client will get a return of premium plus 10%. Not at that point in the first 2 years, that individual, that insured, would not get the full death benefit amount. Let's say it was $20,000. That individual would get a return of premium plus 10%. And what really determines the difference between these two plans is all about underwriting and the underwriting process as to which one they're going to be eligible for. Next slide, please. So the other good thing that I think gives us a real competitive advantage with our Living Promise product is the riders that we have available. We have cost riders, which obviously is self-explanatory, riders that are available at an additional cost. In that case, it's our accidental death benefit rider. And then we have no cost riders, which there obviously is no cost, and they're automatically added at issue. And that's our accelerated death benefit for terminal illness or nursing home confinement rider. Next slide, please. So again, it's kind of the double duty or triple duty dollars. You have one policy but multiple benefits. So you know in each case, of course, you've got the in this case the living benefit level plan, which obviously provides a tax-free, 100% income tax-free death benefit to the beneficiaries. In addition to that, the two riders that I just mentioned, we have the accelerated death benefit, which will accelerate the death benefit, as the slide points out, if the insured is diagnosed as having a terminal illness, which would be, we define as 12 months life expectancy or less, or if they're confined to a nursing home for 90 consecutive days. We will allow an acceleration of death benefit is there as well. And then the accidental death benefit is available, and of course that would pay out in the situation where the death of the insured is due to an accident. So next slide, please. So I mentioned before what determines, when we get into underwriting, that's really what on this product, what determines eligibility overall. Are they going to get the coverage level or graded, or are they going to be declined? So it really kind of gets into how these questions are answered. Some of you, of course, are familiar with these questions, but in this situation, so if they answered yes to, and I know it's hard to see all of this on the screen, all of on the screen right now, excuse me, but these are the sort of the major medical conditions and issues. If the insured answers yes to any question in this part one, it would be a decline, not eligible for coverage. Next slide, please. Now, so there's the decline, which is always a possibility. However, the next situation is when would the graded benefit be available, the graded death benefit, and that would be a situation where they answered yes to any one of these questions in part 2 of the application. And again, this application would be something you'd see on a traditional paper app as well as our automated e-app. Next slide, please. So this is just another overview. Level benefit is you're going to, if they answer no to all the application benefits, they're going to be eligible for the level benefit. Yes, for graded benefit, they'll get the graded benefit if they answer yes to any application question in part 2, and it would be a decline if they answered yes to any application questions in part 1. Next slide, please. And we have really like I mentioned before, we have a lot of really good marketing materials available. The folks there at AIM have, can get this material to you and are a great source for all sorts of different things related to product support, marketing support. So that's a tremendous resource for you, of course. We have a lot of this also available on our producer website. And some of it's geared towards just you, the producer, the agent. And really some of I think the best stuff we have is client approved materials that you can use at point of sale. Next slide, please. So I want to get into a little bit about underwriting and automated underwriting, which is really synonymous with what we call our e-app process. And again, we're seeing a growing number, 65, maybe closer to 70% of our applications for this product now are being received on e-app. So next slide, please. So the benefits are pretty self-explanatory, right? Because it allows you, first and foremost, as you're with the client, it will allow you to deliver an instant underwriting decision to them. It's available on this product we're talking about, our Living Promise product. And it's just, you're going to get a decision whether it's level, graded, or a decline. And, you can use it. It's just an efficient way. You can use it from your laptop or desktop. Of course, a lot of people like to do it with their clients. If these resources are available with a tablet, an iPad, or a phone, it's just a real sleek way of submitting business. Next slide, please. So this is, again, fairly self-explanatory. We'll show you some slides here, some screenshots. Will give you a little better understanding, but it's pretty straightforward, right? You're going to fill out the client's personal information. This is all very intuitive. It really doesn't let you make a mistake or go further into the process without completing the sections properly. You're going to have them after that. You're going to have them sign the HIPAA authorization, ask the underwriting questions, and then complete the application and click submit. Next slide, please. So, and you can hit, so thank you. So after you click submit, this might not be real easy to see, but we just want to give you an idea. And again, this is on our e-app process, what some of the screens will look like for those of you that have not used this. And right away, you're going to, if you can see the two light green message boxes, you'll get right then and there, you'll get a notification that it's been submitted. And in this case, that it's been approved. And in this case, in this sample case, it was approved at the level death benefit. So you just know that right away with our e-app process. Next slide, please. Again, same thing. This gives you an idea, some of the screenshots, some of the different messages you're going to get. You're going to get this instantly. In most cases, of the level approval, the graded approval, a decline, and then there may be circumstances where we call it a referral, where we're going to need some additional information for further review. Next slide, please. So what happens next? Again, fairly self-explanatory. It's submitted to us, and then you click again, please. And then you'll receive an email confirmation with the policy number pretty much right away. And then we complete the administrative requirements and we issue the policy, of course, if it's approved. And then the final step is that the policy is mailed out. So again, very efficient, very intuitive, very easy to use. If you haven't used our e-app, I really urge you to do so. By the way, for those of you that are familiar with our TLE product, which is our Term Life Express product, again, simplified issue term product, that the instant decision on our e-app is coming, we hope sometime in December. So just FYI on that, for those of you that are familiar with our TLE product, that'll be a nice enhancement. Let's see, next slide, please. Regarding further details on our e-app process, we have these brain sharks, which we can get these out to everybody that's in attendance. They're just brain sharks. They're training videos, and what we do in this is we do one for the email signature method as well as the in-person signature method. And they're very effective. They're very instructive, and it actually, instead of just showing you some screenshots to give you a general idea is what I've been doing this morning for you. This walks you through step by step. So for those of you that are interested, we can certainly get those links out to you. It's a helpful tutorial. Next slide, please. And then a little bit more on our quoting and application tools. Next slide, please. So I'm sure most of you are familiar with WinFlex. You can use WinFlex to get a full illustration. More often than not, agents are using our quotes on the go because, again, it's easy, it's efficient. You can use it from your iPad, you can use it from your iPhone or whatever type of smartphone you have, if that's the case, and it's just a quicker and more efficient way of doing things. Next slide, I think it goes into just showing you some screenshots to give you an idea of what that looks like. Yeah, full illustrations again. I'm sure most of you are familiar with WinFlex. And then the next slide is the mobile quotes, and it just shows you an example of a screenshot of a tablet or a smartphone that shows you, right there, very, very clear to see in this particular screenshot. This is our Term Life Express quote, but it would be the same for Living Promise, where you can get to see that in this case, the cost at monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, and annual, and just have that and be able to communicate that to your client right away. Next slide, please. Again, just to give you an idea, for those of you that have not done this yet, it's very easy to go in there to make it even more efficient and quicker. Very easy to go in there and set your preferences and going into settings and set some defaults to the way that you would like it. Just make it easier for you and your clients. Next slide, please. Again, this is just a little bit more information on our e-app process. Like I mentioned, we've been talking about our Living Promise product, but is also offered with instant decision coming soon on our TLE, Term Life Express, our Children's Whole Life, and our accidental death product, Guaranteed Advantage. Next slide. Again, this gets a little redundant, but we really want to highlight the ease of doing business with our e-app. And it makes it so much easier to submit applications that are in good order, get things done right the first time, less chances for mistakes on anybody's side, and it gets you decisions quicker, gets you your policies issued quicker, and of course, very importantly, gets you paid faster. Next, please. Yeah, so that slide is nothing. So with that, I know this was fairly quick and fairly high level, but wanted to, hopefully that gave you, especially for those of you that are not familiar with our final expense product, Living Promise, hopefully that gave you a better idea of the product and its riders available and the different ways to apply, specifically our EAP process. With that, I can turn it back over to you, Anthony, with any other comments you have, and of course, if you've received any questions, we can go over those as well.
Yeah, David, we appreciate you being able to have you here and being able to do this presentation, even though it was a little rough to start out with, but it was great. I appreciate it. And I did have one question that came in the key, so I'm just going to ask that before we open up the lines. So this is from Christine Crowley, I believe, and it says, can you stack this product, meaning can you have more than one?
Stack the product? I'm sorry, you cut out a little bit. Stack and like layer the coverage, stack the coverage?
Yeah, it sounds like if you can have more than one policy. I'm thinking from my understanding, if you had, let's say, a $40,000 policy and then you wanted to add another 20.
Yeah, absolutely. You can. That's a very good question. You can do that. I mean, it would be treated as a new case. So they would, but there's no problem. In fact, that happens quite often where additional coverage is needed. And so, yes, they can, sometimes that's called stacking, sometimes that's called layering. I will point out, though, our GWell Express, if you're in a situation where the client, and it's not going to be a lot of situations for final expense, but let's say the client wants or needs more than the maximum we offer with Living Promise, which is $40,000 on the level benefit plan. I'll tell you what, and we can cover this as a sales idea in a future webinar. Using our GWell Express product is a really nice final expense alternative. It gives you maximum death benefit amounts all the way up to $300,000, and again, it's the same simplified issue underwriting. So it's you're typically not going to maybe need that much coverage in a final expense scenario, but if you do that situation where you can stack and you can layer for sure. Right, so a good question. But if you know from the beginning that they're going to need more than we can offer on our Living Promise product, you may want to look at GWell Express as an alternative for not only for the higher death benefit amounts, but it's generally a lower premium. And that's even more true, keep in mind, with the repriced version of our GWell Express that came out October 1st. So didn't want to miss an opportunity to point that out.
Great. Okay. So here I'm going to unmute everyone. Give me 1 second. It's going to take a second to unmute everyone, but we should be good to go.
Okay.
All right, unmuted everyone. Does anyone have any more questions?
I do.
It could be, a question on Living Promise or really anything on our simplified issue product portfolio.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Bud, we can hear you.
Yeah, just a question about the first premium payment, how that is processed. If you do it electronically.
Yeah, we could do. We've improved that process actually, and you do it electronically, and we'll draft that first premium payment on whatever day the insured selects.
So you just set it up to be automatically deducted.
Correct. Yep. Good question. Correct. And often that's the way it's done. But yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Are those riders available in California?
Yes, I want to check because there's a number of let me confirm that with you because I know California is a little trickier on some of the riders, but as far as the accelerated death benefit one is available, and I believe the accidental death, but let me confirm that for you for sure, because that's sometimes a fluid situation in California and other states, frankly. And I'll get that information to you, or to Anthony. He can get that out to you guys.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I can tell you that the graded death benefit, and this question came up the other day, the graded death benefit option that I mentioned, that's available in California, but it's not, the graded death benefit option is not available in Arkansas, Montana, or North Carolina, if any of you do business in those states.
I have another question.
Okay. Okay.
Go
ahead, Bud.
Recommending to a group of clients, are there materials available to help get that done? And what number would I call to visit about that?
Hey, Anthony, that was difficult for me to hear. Did you hear that?
I couldn't quite catch that.
You need me to re-ask it?
Yeah, please.
Okay. You have marketing materials to send out to current clients with other products? And if so, what number do I call to get those published?
Okay, I think I heard what you said regarding marketing materials. So you can get that off all of that and all that type of information off our producer website called SPA if you're registered for that. And you can also get and Anthony, help me out here if that's also obviously something that that folks at AIM could get you as well.
Yeah, we have access to all sales material for your clients as well as for yourself. So that's definitely something we can get out to you. And I'll actually get some stuff out to you personally, bud.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, as a follow-up, we can, of course, it's your call, but we could send out for those that are interested those tutorials, and as well on the EAP process, as well as some supporting marketing materials. I don't know if any of you have seen. Probably some of you have seen this, but we have. I'll tell you, it's funny. Some of the most effective pieces we have are these postcards. We call them postcards because that's kind of what they are. And they can be personalized for you with your personal information and contact information on there. And we put them on our Living Promise product, on our Children's Whole Life, on our Term Life Express. And it's just real simple and straightforward. It has some bullet points on it that helps describe the product and the way to use it and its applications. And then it has some sample rates. And it's just a real simple, nice looking heavy stock paper postcard, but we probably get some of the best feedback on those as being as being very helpful in generating interest in the product.
That's what I was looking for. So thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay, good. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you completely, but I thought that might be something I'd want to offer. So we can get you samples of those postcards, and then we can get them personalized for you as well.
Great. Thank you.
Right.
And those training videos, I also would like those put on the list, have those sent out too, please.
Okay. So Anthony, are you capturing are you going to just get this out to everybody? Or are you capturing the individual names? You're probably more familiar, obviously, than I am.
Yeah, I'm going to have a list of all the attendees, and I will personally reach out to every single one of them to see if there's any more information they would like. So if we miss anything, we'll capture that.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you for that.
Yeah, not a problem.
Again, I apologize for technical difficulties we had, but hey, look, we're still finishing 9 minutes early. Unless there are some additional questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Okay, great. If we don't have any more questions, that'll be the end of the webinar. We appreciate you, David. It was stressful, but guess what? We got through it, and it was great.
Yeah, no pain, no gain, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'll be reaching out to everyone here shortly, within the next day, well, pretty much today, and seeing how you guys like this, see if there's anything we can do for you. Again, if you have any questions prior to me reaching out to you, feel free to call in immediately, and I'll be able to answer those for you.
Great. Thank
Other
you.
than that, thank you, David. I appreciate it, and I'll be in the webinar.
Thank you so much.
All right, have a good day, guys.
Thank you.